kind of go over those benefits and tips, preparation for adult life, just chores by age and complexity, and all of y'all will have a handout that has by age, it's front and back, and we're gonna be working with those in a little bit. And then at the end, it's gonna be a lot more of y'all collaborating and working together. We got some parent feedback of like, it's important for the parents to get to talk with one another during trainings. So y'all have some time for brainstorming by yourself, working with a partner or a group, and then making a plan, because we want you to walk out of the training to say, I know what I wanna do, or at least a piece of it. So that's just kind of our setup. And then we were gonna talk about some of the benefits of chores. And I'm not gonna read it to you because y'all all have that in front of you. But I just feel like when I think of chores, I have a 15-year-old, and it is an opportunity for me to give praise when he is doing a job well done. And I will also say, I am sure when you perform a chore, it is probably at a mastery level, and your children probably are not at a mastery level in all cases. And so Christine and I would talk about just getting approximates, just little steps. So like when you make a bed, maybe you are military and have perfect sheets. But if they are getting it close, so just those close approximations. And then with any new skill, they're gonna develop problem-solving skills. They're gonna have to figure out tools that they're going to need. And then I think too, like, my son and I do dishes together. We trade roles. It's kind of a nice way just to kind of chat. So I like that. And then also at any time when your child is employed, if there's something spilled on the floor, you're going to have to clean it up. You know, so all of those things, if a mess happens in the cafeteria and they are responsible. So just making sure that they have those things to apply. Did you want to add anything else?
No, I agree with all of that. And I think, you know, sometimes with chores too, it could just be them noticing that something needs to be done. You know, oh, the trash is full. What should we do about that? Or what did we forget to do this morning? We forgot to make our bed. You know, like just starting to have those little conversations so that their awareness, you know, around different chores and different things that need to be done around the house. And you know, the other thing too, every house is different as far as what your priorities are. Some people never make their bed, and you know, that's okay. If that's not your chore of choice, that's fine. But there's lots of different things that you can recruit your child to help you with that, you know, whether it's caring for a pet, whether it's watering plants, whether it's getting the mail, like any of those little things can be broken down into smaller steps, and just helping them to understand that they're part of a community. You know, that's something that we try to do at school too. You know, I know at the high school, and I've even had kiddos at the elementary and middle school level where their job is to deliver library books to return, you know, to the library for their class, or they have to set out the chairs in the morning before everybody comes, or stack them at the end of the day. Just helping them to build that awareness of the fact that they are part of a community. You know, whether it's a home community, family community, or whether they're at school, that everybody has to do their share to help.
So these next couple of slides are all pictures, and I put them specifically because I feel like we take for granted sometimes how much we actually know the names of things, and expect our children to know the names of everything that we're talking about because we've been using it for so long. So I'm gonna be honest with you, like, I don't know what that situation is over there in that picture, but there are some of the tools that my husband, he's a great cook. He has lots of utensils that, you know, he describes them to me. He doesn't call them by name. So it's okay that if you're a child, you're like, spatula, maybe everyone knows that, or colander, or maybe you say something different. So I wanted you just to kind of look at some of the pictures of, you know, what we're asking kids to know, as well. Just like looking at some of the cleaning supplies. Do they know that I've seen kids put dish soap in the dishwasher, and that was not the right move. But they get it. It's dish soap. It's a dishwasher. I should put that in there, and then there's bubbles all over the floor. And so I think it's important just to say when you're looking, you know, I had like one measuring cup. My friend was like, you should have more. One's for dry ingredients. And I was like, I don't know that. I don't know that because I don't like to cook. So I just wanted you to kind of see some of the things that when we're like, well, go get so-and-so, they just may not know. And just like in the laundry room, same thing. Again, with safety and using supplies, obviously you have to keep that in mind, that not every child is going to be ready to use all the bathroom supplies. But I feel like laundry is always great. A lot of skills of sorting and separating. But I just wanted you to kind of see those as we go through. I like the little, for smaller students, the little handheld vacs. I think those are kind of nice.
Dusters are fun because they come in a lot of different sizes and shapes and colors. So if they are really into dusting, you can take them to Walmart or Target and have them pick it out, which is a really big deal for them. Same thing with sponges, same things with aprons, all those little kinds of things that you can just personalize for them. I've had kids, similar to what we do for shower routines, for kiddos who don't like taking a shower, kids who don't like bathing, they have their own little toiletry basket. It has their favorite soaps, their favorite loofah sponges, washcloths, those kinds of things. You can do the same thing with chores, like in that basket is their duster. It's their own personal things that they like to use when they help around the house. Another thing I've suggested before to parents is, especially with some of these things, cleaning supplies that have very strong chemicals and they can be, dangerous for kids and pets. Maybe, of course, put them up if you don't want them, if that's not something that they should have access to, or if you have little kids that are very curious about things and they love spray bottles and all that kind of thing. You can color code things, like maybe this is the water spray bottle, this is the, Windex bottle, whatever it might be. You can kind of just tailor it according to the level of your learner. But those are some other ideas too. And if you want to start with just like water in a spray bottle is such a great, just easy tool. Fine motor, it's good for a grass pattern. It's a good bilateral activity where they have to spray and then they have to wipe. And I mean, they can spray water on the mirrors, they can spray water on the windows, they can spray water on the tables, just so that they can get used to the motion, to the activity, and then you can gradually graduate them to something else. So.
And I will say some of my family's vacuuming the sound is not preferable. Right. I had a family say we have like a quieter vacuum that we're going to say we don't need to do it the whole thing, right, but just getting them acclimated. Maybe we're not going to do it for the full 15 minutes, but I want you to just hear it and be comfortable with it and start tolerating things. So I'm not saying let's pick the least favorite chore and begin with that, but then also just build up that tolerance as well.
And it's kind of fun too, as kids become more familiar with routines and they're watching you model it and they're participating in it, you can start having a dialogue about what is it that you like to do? Not everybody likes to scrub the shower. And I'm not saying your kids need to scrub the shower, but I'm just saying as adults, I think we have this conversation, I hate unloading the dishwasher. I don't know why. They're clean. But I love to load. I don't like to unload. So it's kind of fun to talk with your kids about what they like to do. They can try a chore for a month or two. I didn't really like, watering the plants because, XYZ. Okay, well, let's switch it up. What could we do instead? Or maybe mommy will start watering the plants and you can pick up this chore. Let them try different things so that they themselves get a sense of what their strength is and what they like to do.
I love that. And then I also just included some outdoor and gardening chores. Again, I wouldn't know the names of all of these pieces of equipment. Yeah. So just remember, when you're introducing things, you've known it maybe for years and years and years, and they're like, I thought I brought you the right tool, but I didn't. Right. But I think that's a great way to build vocabulary as well, and then saying what the purpose of each tool is. I would probably need some guidance of that in the kitchen. So, and then this, I really like these pictures the most. Because I feel like when we tell kids to clean their room, that looks like a major task at hand. Yes. And when we get through, we're going to give some tips on probably say cleaning your room at a certain level of age is not probably the best direction because it's a little overwhelming because I wouldn't even know where to start. Well, I would know where to start because I love to clean, but it's a lot to even, I want to take everything out of the room and put it somewhere else and
Right.
start putting it back in.
Start with picking up clothes, closing the drawers, like those kinds
Yes.
of things, yeah.
And so those are going to be kind of the tips that we'll go over. But I feel like sometimes we need to see all of that for our kids to know that it is a lot. And so starting small is super important. So here's some of our tips. The first one being a good role model. If you say, I hate doing chores, your kids will say they hate doing chores. We had this, so saying, I really prefer to do this. I like to pair, unpreferred activities with preferred activities. So I love to talk on the phone. It's one of my very favorite things to do. So when I am cleaning, I'm usually on the phone. My son hates the phone, so he listens to music. So if there's something that we can pair of I'm going to do something and at least make a little more fun. Yeah. Being consistent, which I want to say isn't the same as being rigid, but just being consistent of this is how we do something, and then making those approximations, and then the specific with instruction. So no more clean your room. Let's pick up all of the clothes off the floor and place them here. And if they're on the floor, that's clean. Well, probably not anymore because it's been on the floor. So let's just, making it very defined so they know exactly what to do. And like Christine and I said, don't delay. Start now. They say for every age, that's how many, what your age is, that's how many chores you should have. And so starting about 3. So just thinking about things that they can do. And that builds confidence too, that they can do it.
And it could be little things like if you're getting ready for bath and they need to go get their pull-up or their diaper, they know where the drawer is or where the basket is, where those items are. Go get your jammies, go get your socks, those kinds of things. I mean, I know in our mind it's not like a chore, but it's a part of a routine. It's a part of a sequence, and those things, with time you build on it. So,
and then again, we're not going to make everything be perfect. Because that's not the important part. Is that you're participating. They're participating in the chores. Ease into it. I don't want you I went to a training and this Miss Lunch lady said 15 chores for you because you're 15
right.
years old and we're doing it right now. And I'm no, that's not what I'm saying. But just making sure that, and we're going to go through a checklist to say my kid really does do a lot. Yeah. I hadn't thought of it that way, but just acknowledging too that they do participate. I feel like encouragement and praise, but specifically, I really liked how you put up all your clothes, and then you asked if I needed to do anything else, you checked in. So being specific so they'll know, and then giving a next step. You did all of this, great. Do you want to dust next, or do you want to clean your mirrors? Giving a choice of the next thing to do.
And just real quick, Misty, sorry.
Absolutely.
Providing encouragement and praise. I know for myself, I usually start with a list of things I have to do, whether it's chores or errands or those kinds of things. I'm old school, I write everything down. But sometimes that visual, I get a lot of satisfaction of crossing something off, checking something off. If you have something on the fridge or on a wall somewhere, bulletin board, whatever, where they have to go and do a big X on it, or move the picture over because we already did it, cross it off, tell, some people use technology like Alexas and stuff, Alexa, I already did this, cross it off my list, that kind of thing. Those are all ways of reinforcement and encouragement too, that I got something done, now I only have 2 things left, or I'm finished for the day, now I get to go do this. Another thing too, a lot of these chores have, like I said, built-in kind of large motor, fine motor, benefits as far as, if they're doing heavy work, picking up laundry baskets and moving them, moving chairs, moving furniture. It could just be fluffing pillows, fluffing a pillow, giving it a couple of slaps, moving to the next one. I mean, that's huge for kids and it's fun. That kind of stuff can give them a little bit of input. And, when they're pushing a vacuum or pushing, I find a lot of kids like the Swiffers because they don't have a lot of sound. And so, it's just an easy way to get them to be moving their body. Outside in the yard, same thing. If they're just picking, you're pulling weeds and they're picking it up and putting it in the trash, or just anything like that. They're using their body, and that's a huge benefit to all of our kids, as well as to us when we're doing chores, and we get some benefit out of it too.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna click, and then I'll let you keep going.
Oh, okay. Oh, benefits with cooking. I just love this because kids love to eat. So many of our kids are motivated by food. I know I'm motivated by food. So, having them be a part of packing their lunch, making a snack. And I don't mean getting out the frying pan or turning on the microwave, which of course, depending on the level of your learner, that is definitely a great skill to have. We've had kids at school that their snack is making microwave popcorn, which is a very realistic skill to have. And so, that's something you could certainly do at home, but, just being able to get the Ziploc bag and putting the crackers in, or pouring their crackers or cookies into a bowl, or doing, cereal and milk. Also, serving other people. If, you're sitting down with your child and enjoying something, being able to have them help you serve, pouring water, milk, juice, whatever it is, or them going to the fridge and getting whatever it is that they want. Some kids don't know that cheese is in the fridge. Some kids don't know that, our apples are in the fridge. I mean, some of you might keep them on the counters, but, again, so it's just a great learning opportunity for them to know how to do that. Cooking, of course, gathering different materials, measuring cups, spatulas, spoons, bowls, all those kinds of things are ways that they can participate. Setting the table, cleaning up afterwards. I know a lot of my students, and we have a lot throughout the district, not just on my campuses, that have IEP goals for recipes, being able to follow a recipe, do a sequence, because a lot of our classrooms have those cooking groups, and they love it because they're making brownies, they're making cookies with their friends, Rice Krispie treats, all these kinds
And
of
those
things.
are lifelong skills.
Absolutely, yeah.
We'll never stop
So
having those.
it's a great way to learn sequencing. It's a great way to spend time together, with your child. If you have more than one child, they can do it together, and it's also something that they can use later on in life.
Love that. So I'm not going to read through these, but at your table, there's a list of ages for each level. So 3 through 5, and if you flip over on the back, it goes all the way to all the teenagers, to 18. But these are just some ideas to give you, and we're going to do like a little activity with them in a moment. But I just kind of wanted to give you like a starting point of like, my kid could do at least 3 of those things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just glancing at the list. I love grocery shopping things because I feel like that's putting it in the right place. It's
Mm-hmm.
also like an independent living skill. And then I also wanted to include chores by age, and then what you could be doing, cooking skills by age as well. And Christina, you kind of just went over some of those things of just washing and pouring and all of those things. Knife skills, even 3 to 5, was just like a plastic knife.
Mm-hmm.
Just picking out things. So I think it's important just to kind of see what your children can already do and focus on the positive. If this is what they are doing, this is what they can do. I will say my child has no idea how to sew buttons, but I feel like I could sit down and we could do it. So some of the things for me, I was like, I probably need to work on some of those things as well. And then cooking skills as well. This is based on safety, but just knowing that turning on the stove and off the stove. I've had some families share that their kids a little nervous around heat. They know it's hot, but they like to cook, but they're a little nervous about it. And I said, we have to do affordable mistakes that are safe. I am sure if any of you have cooked, you probably have burned yourself at least once. Or bacon grease or something hitting you. Don't want that to happen to your child. But if they burn their hand one time, it's okay. It's not preferable, but we've all experienced that. So making it safe for them, but then also know if they scoop the eggs and they fell on the floor, then they fell on the floor, and it's okay. I think sometimes we want to save them and not let them experience some of those failures. It's good to have the failure so we can learn from it. I know my husband, he prepared something last night, took it over. Had to get something painted, so our furniture's in a little disarray, spilled it all on the ground. It was fine. We as practicing cleaning up skills are working together. So I think it's okay if they're unloading the dishwasher and they break the dish. It's unsafe for a second. We'll clean it up, but don't take away an opportunity because you don't want anything bad to happen.
Right.
Because they need to learn something bad happened. How do we problem solve? So it's another learning opportunity when a mistake happens.
Or when you choose to have pizza night on the couch and your dog jumps up and grabs the piece of pizza out of your son's hand and he loses his mind.
Exactly.
Well, what could we do next time? Sitting on the couch and eating a piece of pizza was a great idea, but what could we do next time? Eat at the table? Yeah, this is why we eat at the table. Yeah,
But
so little things like that.
I think it's good to let those things naturally happen when you know that it's possible. But then I just think too, like some kids do really like to cook, and if your kid is a picky eater, just having them, even if they're not eating the food, preparing the food, because they're getting that input, even if they're not going to eat it.
That's right.
But just say this is kind of part of it.
Exposure, and that kind of ties into going to the store with them. Having them help you with the list at home, whether it's telling Alexa or they're actually physically writing it, or you already have a list of things that you need and they have to have it with them in the store and they have to cross things off. That's another chore. Grocery shopping is a chore, bringing things in from the car. Okay, do these things go in the fridge? Do these things go in the, there's just so many opportunities there. You can just make it as complex as you want, but your kids best, your family best, and what your needs are and what your routines are. So just think about where you can just start having them help. I know shredding is very popular with a lot of my students, and that is at home, it's just, we still get so much mail these days. So it's just, if you have a shredder in the house, and you have a child that is not too sensitive to sound, and we even have kiddos in the adult program who are sensitive to sound, and they come over here and they use our jumbo shredder and they just wear their little headphones. They look so cute doing it, but they do all our shredding for the building. But at home, you go with them to the mailbox, you get the mail, you sort your mail, and then you tell them you can go shred this, or you go with them to shred it. So that's also a great little chore that's kind of fun, kind of different, and saves you time. So
I will say, like, going back to what you said about grocery shopping, as your kid gets older and you're buying all those groceries, I think my son and I play the Price is Right game, and how close did I get to what the groceries are going to cost. So we kind of have some idea about budgeting and future planning. I always think that's kind of fun. I've never lost a game once. It's not so great at it yet. So this is what we're going to do for the next 3 to 5 minutes on that little chore sheet. You're just going to highlight or whatever you want to do, list the chores that your child is currently doing. And then after you do that, I'll be like, all right, 3 minutes is up. I want you to share with a partner kind of like what your kid does well. So I'm going to set the little timer on my phone, and y'all can go ahead and start. And if you're watching this from home and you were not able to attend in person, you have a chores by age document that you can refer to. Next, you're going to make a plan. So for the next 5 minutes, you're going to review those chores by age document and pick out 2 to 5 additional chores you would like your child to start with within the next 3 months. I want you to prioritize those chores by ranking them in order of importance, and then estimate about how long it will take for the first chore to be mastered. Write out what tips you will use from slide 10 to assist with the skill, and then continue this process for the remaining chores and adjust your timeline if needed. I'm going to click on slide 10 so you can refer back to it. And these are just those tips of being a good role model, consistency, specific with instructions, starting early. Remember, don't insist on perfection. Ease into those chores, establish routines, incorporate when and then technique. When you do this, then this occurs, that preferred activity afterwards. Always provide specific encouragement and praise, and set those clear expectations. And we really think starting at 3, having the same number of chores as your child's age is helpful. And start working side by side to start and provide visuals if needed. So again, make that plan. And after, you're going to share with a partner. So if you're working at home and you're seeing this at your computer, share your plan, kind of write it out what you want to do. And then thank you so much for coming, and we appreciate you. And here are some references that I have utilized. Thank you.